Hi, good morning, Melody Salem. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Lovely to hear from you.
It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on this morning with Melody Salem. Melody is responsible for the welfare of St. John's Wood community, for the senior members of the community, together with Gillian. And I'm delighted that you found some time amongst all the amazing things you do to have a chat. First of all, how was your Passover? How are your family? How are you coping with this crazy time we're living through?
Oh gosh, do you know what? I can't complain. We're fine. We're good. You know what? At least we're together, making the best of it. I'm at home with my husband and my three boys. They're 13, 11, and 5, so it's pretty full on. We're good. We're okay. I really can't complain. I mean, we got the virus, I think, pretty early on, and I'm pleased to say that we've recovered. And we're just sort of enjoying the time together. You know, my husband works long hours normally and travels a lot, so it's great to have him at home and have a bit of extra support. But it's fine. We're just sort of trying to be nice to each other and considerate to each other. It's not always so easy. Of course, we're missing extended family, but yeah, no, we're all good. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic. So tell me, Melody, how did you, tell me about your connections with St. John's Wood Synagogue. Let's start from there.
Sure. So my parents and grandparents were all members of the synagogue. So I guess you could say I was born into the community. And I've got really fond memories of attending the Sunday Hebrew classes, and I had my bat hal in the synagogue. And since I'm married now into a Sephardi family, I'm a member of Lauderdale Road in Maida Vale, but I do sort of sneak back whenever I can.
To get your Ashkenazi fix.
Yes, exactly.
and how did you manage to get involved with all the volunteering work that you do? How did that start?
Well, I mean, generally, sort of charity and volunteering was something I'd seen in my parents and my grandparents. But I was particularly close to my grandmother, Vera Norman, and she loved going to shul, and she loved all the different activities that the Ladies' Guild had to offer. And when she sadly passed away, I had 2 little boys, and the older one was 2, and he started at the nursery upstairs. And I just went one day to collect him, and I saw through the window of the hall there was some sort of event taking place. And I thought, well, I bet that was something my grandmother would have done. And I thought, I'm going to pop in and introduce myself. And I walked in, and I was so overwhelmed by the warm welcome I got. I think there was Anne Saphir, and there was Essie Graham, and there was Ruth Hollander. And I was so touched by it, I just wanted to go back again.
Wow. You know, it's an interesting thing. Shul means so much to so many different people, whether it's coming for the prayers or the social events or the Hanukkah parties or Purim parties or whatever it may mean. But what you do in the synagogue is really so intrinsic, and the welfare support that's offered there is just incredible. I know when we first joined, we were blown away to see what happens at St. John's Wood, your incredible luncheon club. Tell us a little bit about what you do and an overview of the welfare that's offered for senior members of our community.
Sure. So I work with Gillian Burr, who is amazing. She's you know, a real pillar of the community. And she, when the previous person who was in charge, when Yaffa left, Gillian took over. She stepped up and she took me under her wing. And together, we've had a really, really great partnership. And we offer sort of, you know, welfare stuff like sort of phoning around the community and visiting at home, visiting in hospital. And we also have this communal lunch, which we've sort of carried on and expanded.
It's phenomenal. I mean, right now, life's changed for everyone. And I'm sure for a lot of the guests who enjoy this lunch and look forward to this lunch, it was pretty much a lifeline to some of them, because it was a social event in their calendar, delicious food, great socializing, and a chance to be part of community life. How have you managed to kind of keep things going during the current crisis?
Well, you know, of course there's no lunch, and I can tell you that we are all really, really missing it. It's such a shame. People, you know, volunteers and members alike have really made such great connections with each other through the lunch. And if you don't mind, I would love to just mention the core team of volunteers who do that lunch.
Please do.
Every other week. I mean, it's quite a long list, and I'm only going to say first names because it is a bit long. But I think it's really worth mentioning it, because I think
absolutely,
they will testify there's a real sense of purpose and camaraderie, and that, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful team. So we have Irene, Charlotte, Hazel, Melissa, Natalie, Patty, Liz, Sylvia, Jane, Gillian Balcom, Louise and Ben, Vicky, Janice, Anne, Deanna Malcolm, Lena, Stephanie, Judy, Ofra, Annabelle and Dan, Evelyn, Donna, Jacob, Rosalind, and Alan. And you know, the lunch is really fantastic. I mean,
that's an incredible list. Wow.
I know. We cook from scratch a 3-course meal, often with entertainment. We serve it with wine, and you know, we all just really look forward to it. And I'm
sure there'll be people watching this who think, you know, once this is all over, I want to get more involved with community life. There are people who are observant, people who are not observant. Everyone kind of pitches into this. How does somebody, if they want to get more involved, do that?
Well, I tell you, our core team were amazing, but we could sort of very quickly realise the scale of this issue that we're having now was so overwhelming that the synagogue sent out an email, and the response was just incredible. I mean, the volunteer team grew sort of 5-fold overnight.
Sure.
So, you know, I would really recommend anyone who wants to get involved, if you want to do some phoning. People have been amazing with shopping, making sure that everyone's got, you know, people that haven't got a neighbour or a porter or a carer or a cleaner or a relative or anybody, you know, they really rely on someone coming to them, delivering a bit of shopping. I mean, we've had puzzles dropped off, all sorts of things.
Unbelievable.
And if you don't mind, I'd love to mention the sort of the newer volunteers who have been delivering food. Who have I got here? Claudia, Kim, Lucy, Fritzy, Roy, Natalie, Louise, Susan, Rosanna, Joanna, Natasha, Rivka, and Michael. They've all really been fantastic.
You know what?
Thank you to them.
To all of them. It's an amazing, amazing thing, because from a Jewish perspective, volunteering, chesed, kindness, it's a pillar. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says that the world survives on 3 pillars: Torah learning, avodah, service and prayers, and gemilat chasadim, good deeds and kindness. And really, these people who get involved are a lifeline to so many. We have a huge congregation in St. John's Wood, and there are well over 100 people who are completely by themselves, especially over this time. How did you manage to help people prepare for Pesach, which of course is a really challenging time?
Yes, it was. And, you know, just as we sort of thought we had everything under control and we were doing quite well, it was Pesach, and that really upped the ante. And well, I mean, you all know this because you were involved. We did this huge sort of logistical event where we had everyone driving through the synagogue, and they were all picking up, whether it was a Seder plate, a Seder meal, a Haggadah, some matzah. Rabbi Mendel even did some tailor-made shopping, which was incredible. And that was actually a really fun event. And I got to see my parents. My parents came, my sisters came. I mean, I shouldn't say this because you're the rabbi, but I half think they ordered a Seder plate just so they could see me. And it was wonderful. And if you don't mind, I would love to thank the people on the forecourt that day. We had Linda, Annabelle, Michelle, Gabriella, Caroline, and Stephanie. And I think Hayley in the office also needs a special mention.
Unbelievable.
The admin coordinating this event was just insane. And in fact, the whole office staff, Jennifer, Crindle, Michelle, they have been inundated, and they have really, really worked very hard.
It's an unbelievable thing, the way they have just, everyone has pitched in. I know Hayley worked round the clock to get that coordination, because when you're delivering 150 parcels to various locations and addresses, it's a logistical challenge.
Absolutely.
Especially with the social distancing.
Yes.
Lots of younger volunteers in the synagogue who might want to get involved. Would they be able to do that?
Absolutely. I mean, we've had the adorable Eliana Vex, who's only 10, and she sat with her parents and she made calls, and I know that they were so warmly received.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Amazing.
You know, we've been phoning around the entire community, and we've had some amazing volunteers who've been really friendly and really fantastic. I'd like to thank Dr. Roger Giewald, Marilyn Offer, Lee and Raymond Lyons, have all been brilliant. And I'm really, really sorry if I've forgotten to mention people, because you know, it does happen, but everyone has been amazing. Thank you.
Tell me something. Please God, the synagogue is going to open very soon, and we are going to be back there. What is that first community lunch going to look like for you, and how are things going to change in this post-corona world?
Oh, do you know what? I can't wait for the first lunch. I think it's going to be a really emotional reunion. You know, sadly, we've lost members. Brian Morris and Irving Carter, which is really, really tragic. But I think it's going to have to be a celebration. It's going to be a celebration of life. We can't wait. We are going to cook our best meal. I was thinking about what it could be. Perhaps the most popular tends to be sort of chicken soup, or maybe smoked salmon. Salt beef always goes down well. Homemade fried latkes, chocolate mousse for dessert. You know, and I'd like to think that Sydney Austin, the very charismatic entertainer, will be there to get everyone out of their seats. And if we're allowed to hug each other, we will. and I'm sure that we will have some whiskey shots on hand.
And I'm sure the rabbinic team will be there for sure as well. Do you have a final message for the community?
Look, it's been a very difficult time for everyone, and you know, as I said, we've lost people, and it's been really tragic not having proper funerals or shivers, and people have had to grieve alone. But in the end, I think one has to look for the positives and the lessons, and you know, the way that the community has come together and united has been really, really amazing. I mean, we've all rallied, we're all helping each other, we're all looking after each other. I would hope that no one has been forgotten, and I think that this community spirit has just been incredible, and it's what makes me so proud to be part of this amazing community that is St. John's Wood.
Wow, well, thank you for everything you do. I'm sure your grandmother would be so proud of you, and we are so grateful to you, so grateful to you. Please God, you should continue doing this for many years to come in good health, and best regards to your family, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rabbi Yoni. Take care.
Bye-bye.